You must build a 5-story building. And this is how you get your wealth and power. Now, the first thing you work on is economics. You started practicing group economics, making your money bounce in your own community 8 to 12 times before it leaves. The second floor is politics. Our people got that backwards. They want to get into politics before they get in the economy. Backwards as hell. You won't make it. You buy every politician with the money you made on the first floor. The third floor is your court system, your police system. You control the court system so they won't be getting 40 years in jail for having marijuana. Then the fourth floor is media. You take your money off the first floor and you buy media. Black folk own 35 thousandths of 1% in media. You don't own media, you can't communicate, you can't organize, you can't motivate. The fifth floor is education. Education is a tool, just like a hammer and a saw. But you got to have an economy. See, when a kid graduates from school, the first thing you do, he should be able to go back to his own community and start building businesses and industries and drawing money into his community and hold it.
I'm back again. Thank you for tapping in. This is Brian HRap B. Williams. This is the End of Bench Media presents A Few Minutes with HRap. Tonight, it will be a few minutes. I'm going to be quick. I'm going to be direct. Come right in, right out. Thank you for tapping in. Hit that like, hit that share. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share it, share it, share it. Subscribe if you haven't. You already know what I'm going to say next. The next thing I'm going to ask you to do is this. What am I going to ask you to do? I'm going to ask you to go right here to www.theendofthebench.com. Tell a friend to tap in all over the place. It helps me with the algorithm. Keep me in the algorithm. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I want to thank my parents, Dolores and John. Dolores and John are my parents. Without them, there's no me. Without me, you'll be doing something else. You'll probably be watching an NBA game or something like that. But thank you for tapping in. It is appreciated. Civic security. What is civic security? Civic security is something I came up with. Basically, civilian security, the security to make sure our community is going to be okay. That's the first thing think we need to focus on, whether it be physical security, like firearms, physical defense, self-defense, karate, kung fu, jiu-jitsu, and things of that nature. Firearms, as I just said, that's redundant, and things of that nature, but mental security. Be secure mentally. We can no longer pay attention to these buffoons, goofballs, and clowns in our community who are pretending to be something that they are not. First and foremost, where I want to start this off at, but shout out to the new subscribers again. You guys are showing up and showing out. I really appreciate it. I've been getting a lot of traction on my website. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Back to the main. Let the main thing be the main thing. Big ups to Mike Tomlin. Now, what I want to do is talk about, I love the momentum that we on. Like, you got people upset. People making comments, they're trying to trigger us, I believe. Anytime you say, well, it was far more peaceful, a more peaceful protest when the blacks didn't show up, but where are they? Why are you worried about where we are? We're disruptive, we're loud, we're ignorant, we're rude, we're belligerent, we're all the things that you claim that we are. Why would you want us there? Because we are the innovators, we are the true fighters, we are the creators, we are the engine that makes that protest car go. Guess why we weren't there? Guess why it was more peaceful? Because when we are protesting, it's traditionally because some police officer or some sheriff or somebody has done ill to us, arrested us, and all of a sudden we magically ended up dead, whether they're black, white, or indifferent. I don't care who it is. It is the people in power. They are hurting us. So how can you walk up after someone has maimed, accosted, or murdered you, and well, can you help? Can you? No, you don't. When you don't respond to abject violence, discrimination with politeness, that doesn't work. It will never work. But what will work is it's the violence of removing your money from society, the violence of shopping with each other, the violence of saying, you know what, we can do that too, and we do it, and then leave you on the outskirts of everything. That's when things start to get ugly. You notice there were no pallets of bricks left so you can incite a riot. None of those foolish things, but you are looking for us. We're what's wrong, but you're looking for us. We're lazy, but you're looking for us. We're incompetent, but you're looking for us. Please help me understand why you're looking for my community, because we're the disruptors. We're the problem. Remember, that's what everybody's programmed to believe, but people are looking for us. We can no longer fall for the banana and tailpipe. no more. I'm not saying that we should even engage, because you know what? We're going to engage on the same level that you guys engage in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and some of the 70s. That's how we're going to engage. We're going to play the back, watch what you do. When it's come time to ask for your piece of the pie, you're at the table. We're going to show up at the table. We want A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X. Y'all got Y and Z. That's what we want. As a matter of fact, we want Y and Z too. That's how we need to be moving at this point in this community. The reason I came on today is because the old guard and the new guard needs to come eye to eye and exchange. We can no longer talk about what I used to do. I marched with King. I've been doing X, Y, and Z. Because you know what? It's this thing called evolution and innovation. Evolution does not mean doing away with. It just means things have changed, and we can put in some of the old with the new. For example, you used to have an iron that you had to heat up, put on a fire, heat up, and then you iron clothes. Now we have irons then he had irons that would be plugged into the wall. Same thing. It would automatically heat up. It had a coil, and then you had a steam, and everything, but you still use the iron. What we're going to do is inculcate the old with the new, because these young people have some wonderful ideas, and we have methods and history on our side. We live the history. We know the history. We've experienced the history. They haven't. We will pour that history into their head and let their fire, let their disdain, and let their energy move the car. They will be the gasoline, and we will be the master cylinder, or we will be the hard drive of the car. They will operate it, they will fuel it, and we'll be the hard drive, using hard drive, using the navigation system, using the ABS brakes. We're gonna be helping the car move. We're gonna make sure the car moves, and they're gonna drive it. That's the only way we will happen. And what else we're gonna do is a lot of those older people in other communities and the hangers on, Bernie Sanders, they will no longer be, they will become obsolete, because even though some of our elders go, Bernie's a cool guy. No, he's not. Bernie Sanders came out and said, just because you MAGA don't mean you're racist. That's like, it's good people on both sides. Hey, you know what? If you are aligning yourself with racists, when you're aligning yourself with discriminatory people, if you're aligning yourself with people who are disregarding people, I don't know, man, make me think you're racist. And if you're not, hey, stop hanging with those people. I got the most embarrassing moment, one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. It might be the most embarrassing moment of my life. I was sitting out on the stoop in the midst, and right next, like 8 feet away from like 9 people who were selling cocaine. I was just sitting on the stoop waiting on my cousin. My 3rd grade teacher walked out of school. She looked at me, thought, and affiliated me with them, and she probably died assuming that I was a drug dealer. I was embarrassed to no end. I procrastinated, and then I just said, forget it. I should have went back and addressed that woman and said, oh, no, I was just waiting on my people to come out the building. But had I not just been sitting there, if I'd have just gone in the house and waited like a normal human being instead of just waiting outside, I wouldn't have had that problem. So if you're sitting outside and you're aligning yourself with MAGA, I don't know, I'm going to be forced to assume that you're a racist. So, but by him coming out and protecting them, I have no issue. You protect who you want to protect, and we're just going to walk away from you. Just like the next time I saw that woman, Miss Johnson then never saw me sitting there again, because I removed myself. I didn't stop. I didn't say, hey, man, get away from me. No. But, hey, you know what? You're doing something that I don't want to be affiliated with. So if you're sticking up for that, I'm going to leave you alone. And that's where the young and the old and our community come together. Yeah, at one point, he was an ally. He may still be an ally, but I'm going to squint at you. And what I mean by squint when I talk to you, if you ever see me talking to somebody and I start squinting at them, that means I think they lying and they full of it. So, and I'm being very cautious as I move forward. Bernie Sanders, I'm being cautious as I move forward with you, because I don't trust anything that you have. I don't want to hear about you march with Dr. King and all that nonsense. Because you know what? I've also heard you say some other things that I didn't agree with, but this is the last straw with me. I'm not telling you to not do it, but with me, Bernie Sanders could come. Hey, Bernie Sanders asked to come on my podcast. I come on and I grill him like filet. And I would, because I have zero trust or zero faith in anything that comes out of his mouth at this point. This is why we need to pour into our young people and let them know. For one, we were, as I stated last night, we were not all cowards. Two, education and history is key. And three, keep the fight going, teaching your young people. We can no longer leave out gaps. I don't care how much trauma you had. Let your children and your grandchildren and your nieces and nephews and cousins and neighbors know that pain. Let them know that that pain can never be revisited. I understand we assume that we're protecting these young people by hiding that pain. We're not. We are putting a pothole in front of them. We're putting a crater in front of them and making them walk around that crater when they can walk in that crater, see all the dangers in that crater, come out the other side stronger because they walked down the crater and then they had the strength to climb up out of the crater. That's what we need to be training our young people to do. As I stated, it's not going to be a long program at all. What I'm going to do is go right to this. I'll be back shortly. Y'all already know I got some history to show you, and I want you to pay attention to this because it is things like this where they present something to you. You think it's cool. It's nothing all this time, but it actually has racist tropes. This is what I'm going to show you today. I want you to watch this. Y'all know I'm not going to show the entire thing. Go to www.theendofthebench.com or check out my man Country Boy here on YouTube or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, One Night History, and you will be able to get more stuff like this. I want you to watch a little bit of this, and I'll be back shortly.
In the world of breakfast staples, few names echo through American kitchens like Aunt Jemima. Yet beneath that familiar facade lies a story that is intertwined with America's racist past, from minstrel shows to modern grocery store aisles. Aunt Jemima's image has carried more than just pancake mix. It has carried the weight of cultural stereotypes, and it's an emblem of comfort food and a stark reminder of America's uncomfortable history. So join us today while we uncover the story of Aunt Jemima. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. Also, if you like audio only episodes, you can find our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. But without further ado, let's get started. In 1888, Chris Rutt and Charles Haywood acquired a small flour mill in St. Joseph's, Missouri, establishing the Pearl Milling Company. Essentially, they were producing meal products like wheat flour and cornmeal, but they faced a saturated market. In 1889, they innovated by selling their excess as self-rising pancake batter, and this marked the creation of the first ready-mix product. Rutt would adopt the Aunt Jemima image from a vaudeville poster and put that brand on their pancake mix. Despite the effort, they lacked capital, and in 1890, they were sold to the R.T. Davis Milling Company. R.T. Davis improvised the mix by adding rice, flour, corn, sugar, and powdered milk, making it simpler and easier to prepare, only requiring water. This success eventually led to the company being renamed Aunt Jemima Mills. Aunt Jemima was modeled after the mammy stereotype. The mammy archetype is a pervasive stereotype that depicts Black women as cheerful, subservient, domestic workers devoted to their white families. It emerged during the Jim Crow era and perpetuated this romanticized view of plantation life with the happy slave narrative, despite the harsh realities of enslavement. In the brand's naming, terms like aunt and uncle were used to address older individuals and intentionally deny them proper English titles like Mr. or Mrs., implying their inferiority. Early advertising heavily leaned into this archetype, often using slogans like eyes in honey to represent Aunt Jemima as a loyal cook on fictitious plantation. These advertisements romanticized plantation life with fictitious stories and reinforced this idealized domesticity. The initial logo marketed materials drew on caricatures from vaudeville parodies. And over time, even as the image evolved, Aunt Jemima predominantly shown in this servant role and is rarely acknowledged as having her own personal life beyond servitude. Alongside brands like Uncle Ben's and Creamer Wheat's Rastas, Aunt Jemima contributed to this post-Reconstruction fantasy that sought to redeem this idealized version of the antebellum South. The name Aunt Jemima even entered the lexicon as a derogatory term for Black women who was perceived overly subservient or aligned with white interests, very akin to Uncle Tom. The first actress to play Aunt Jemima was a woman by the name of Nancy Green. She was born into slavery in Montgomery County, Kentucky. Nancy Green would later move to Chicago after the Civil War. At 59, she was chosen as the first spokesperson for Aunt Jemima's pancake mix, and her lively personality and cooking prowess made her an ideal candidate to embody the brand. Her debut was at the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, where she mesmerized audiences with her pancake cooking demonstrations, stories, and songs. She effectively embodied the romanticized version of the Old South, and her success at the exposition was undeniable, earning her the title of Pancake Queen, and she even received a medal after selling a legendary 50,000 boxes.
What's your plan?
I want to find and kill the people who murdered my wife.
The Amateur. Uh-oh. Chris wanted.
During her time, Aunt Jemima became one of the
That's enough of that. And I'm not saying that's enough for talking about that. That's enough of that portion, because I want you to go to my website, www.theendofthebench.com. Again, www.theendofthebench.com. I want you to watch that in its entirety, or go see it directly on Country Boy's YouTube page, One Mic History, as you see, www.theendofthebench.com. And you can see that live. Thank you. As you see, things are being said on a regular basis that we take as common or innocent, and as you see, we call each other "unk." That was a negative connotation. Auntie. That was a negative connotation, because that's removing Mister. That's removing Miss. That was removing a point of authority, because you, as a Black person, couldn't be seen as a point of authority. You didn't have the respect. That's why so many people. That's why you got people like A.W. Gurley. That's why you got to be W.E.B. Du Bois, because they wouldn't be called by they wanted the respect, and they wasn't going to get the respect. So they said, you know what, I'll change it and make it a different situation. That's why we have to educate our young people on this. Just like that magical N-word. A lot of people say it casually, and I finally gotten to the age where it makes me cringe when I hear it, because it isn't a flipping of the word, and we're taking it on as our own. Because, hey, what if they start making the words jackass or dumbass? Well, what if those things become cool? You're going to be called a jackass or a dumbass? No, you're not. So we have to start educating our people so we'll know what the future, what the past held, and what the future entails. We can no longer just accept things for what they are. With that being said, I'm about to close out. And before I close out, civic security. There is a media or a sports personality by the name of Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is bantying about and pretending as if he wants to run for president. This would be the second biggest mistake, or the third biggest mistake in the history of the United States of America. To even allow this dude to run would be the third biggest mistake. The reason is because Stephen A. Smith is a caricature of a human being. I am meaning this with all disrespect. I'm not saying this to be alarmist. I have absolutely, positively zero respect for this man. I don't care if he makes $100 million on an episode. Just because you make a lot of money does not mean you're well informed, does not mean you're intelligent. It means that you are somebody that the power structure sees as a puppet that they can manipulate, and they can manipulate our community. We are fiercely loyal to the people in our community, contrary to popular belief. People who are sports fans, people who are injustice, to take themselves away from everything else that's going on in their lives. We are fiercely loyal, especially when we see someone on TV that acting like us. Stephen A. Smith is a caricature of a Black person. He talks the talk, he talks like a dog, but he really walks like a cat. I'm tired of this dude pretending to be on our side and always using foolish nonsense like, I wanted to see the other side. He goes on other programs to cater to their base and pretend as if he's offering a positive yet deranged point of view. He is not well versed on. I have rarely heard him be well versed on anything outside of basketball. He is somewhat well versed in boxing, but that's debatable. But what I am here to say is this: How is it that a guy who has very little knowledge about the things that he speaks on? He is a consistent liar. He consistently crafts images of people in our community in a negative way, but because he's loud, he's bombastic, and he pretends he's still from the hood and he's still in contact with people from the hood, we have this affinity to him. No, he is a joke. And the last time you let a TV star be a president or run for president, look what you got. Stephen A. Smith doesn't even offer up his own opinions. What he says is, I'll refer to the experts, which in essence is a good trait to be when you're around politics. But he's also influenced by people who don't look like us, and he perceived them as people as power, influence, and they have money. He is a slave to money. Anytime you go on a show as esteemed as the Karen Hunter Show, Sirius Satellite Radio Channel 126, yes, I am promoting. She ain't gonna give me a dime. She one of the dopest. You need to go ahead and pay that $10, get on Sirius, and get educated as well. But anytime you go on her show and you say you're addicted to reality, this means that this dude is a prevaricator. If you don't know what prevarication is, that is an extreme exaggeration. That's a real polite way of calling him a damn liar. He pretends to be something that he is not. He's not well versed on anything. He talks about football, but knows very little. He talks about basketball. He knows enough. He talks about baseball, knows very little. I was taught by Rob Parker, you must have fell asleep in the class, my friend. This dude, he is insulting the intelligence of the Black community, and he's leaning on our fierce loyalty because he saw how we got behind Obama. He presents himself as a man of the community, a member of the community. I'm a fiscal Republican, but I'm a registered independent, but I lean towards Democrats. I'm voting for Kamala, but you challenge her and you go on these other shows and you insult our community to kowtow to the white establishment. I'm here to tell you, he is a fraud. We need to stop watching his program first and foremost, and we damn sure don't need to give him that one inkling. I'm talking about an eyelash, like that much of a hope to run for office. I have absolutely no desire to run for office, and I know I'm way more qualified, and I don't know a darn thing. I know probably less than him, but I know enough to know he's not prepared to do that. And all he's going to do is be used by the power structure to take 10, 11, 12, 100, just like Mr. West did. He took votes away from this person, and they allowed him, they put money behind him. And that was just enough people to not vote for Hillary and vote for the buffoon, and not vote for this person and vote for the buffoon. That's all he will be used as. I don't care if he goes on 1,000,005 political shows. He knows absolutely nothing. He doesn't know policy. He doesn't know contractual law. He doesn't know constitutional law. He knows absolutely nothing. So to say I'm going to run for the highest job in the land is insane. Why don't you try to be the president of ESPN? Because you're not qualified for that either. People, this is why it is civic security. We must not allow another buffoon to be placed in power, and then especially one who can be controlled by people who are rich and powerful. Sound familiar to you? Just like the alleged richest man in the world is controlling the president currently. How about Sean Hannity will be controlling this buffoon, or somebody else will be controlling this buffoon because he thinks he has power? Look, I don't care about his story. I don't care about him saying foolish things and having arguments with athletes and threatening them. I don't have anything for him to threaten me with. But I know one thing. He's a clown. He does not deserve our attention. You can watch him on ESPN, but it really needs to stop there. With that being said, tomorrow's Wednesday. I'll see you then. Tap in, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tap into the End of the Bench Media. I am HRap, and we have another show coming up called The Supreme Court. This is a thought-provoking show. This is going to be for fun. We're not going to do the tearing down of anybody. We're going to celebrate other people. It is a cultural, it is a fun, it's a historic, and it's an engaging program. I want you to subscribe so you can be a part of it. And at some point, I'm going to have people from the viewing audience come on, and we can have some fun with you as well. This is HRap. See you soon. This is the end of the bench media. 2 fingers, 1 word, and y'all already know what I am.
And it is necessary for those people who rule over us and who rule over African people the world over, if those people are to stay in power, they must destroy our ability to love each other in a healthy sort of way. This is why